very soon, making videos like what I do, criticizing conservative politics, criticizing Donald Trump, reporting on the news from a left-wing perspective, may be criminalized. Maybe there won't be a law written out that says you're not allowed to be a progressive voice on the internet or on television, but it seems as though a move for Donald Trump to begin targeting and potentially engaging in direct legal action against online progressive figures has begun. The writing is on the wall. It started with Jimmy Kimmel and Don Lemon, Donald Trump repeatedly trying to force their networks to take them off the air. This didn't work due to major backlash, and the American people weren't thrilled about the idea of a large public speaker losing their platform because the president said so. So Donald Trump started elevating things a little bit, escalating. And recently, the US government issued a subpoena to Hassan Piker for his aid trip to Cuba. Pretty weird. Okay. Hassan was like demanding Democrats, who he has been attacking for years, to come to his defense on this, which was pretty funny, but, you know, not like anyone could do anything about it. The Republicans control the government, so it's just kind of the situation we're in, right? Well, now, as of yesterday, Donald Trump has published a list that is being updated as we speak on the White House website of leftist influencers who are, as Donald Trump claims, on thin ice, essentially. And it goes even deeper than that. There is more to it. There may be potentially federal arrests of the fans of some of these content creators. The federal government is trying to subpoena Google to get the data on everyone subscribed to certain left-wing YouTubers, subpoena the data on and find out who they are and where they live and et cetera, et cetera. Shit's getting scary. And I might end up on that list very soon. And to tell you guys the truth, there's a good chance that any day now, I'm going to be targeted by the president for my speech. And right now, I'm looking at a situation of like, is it worth it to continue doing YouTube anymore? Should I just delete my channel, all my socials, and just wave the white flag and hope the feds don't come after me anyway for my past online engagement? Because listen, if I'm gonna get fucking arrested, I get hate all the time. I only do this part-time. I don't know if I want to keep doing this if it's starting to get this real. Yeah, I mean, listen, guys, it might be real for you guys, too. This shit's looking scary. Don't stop. That's exactly what they want. It's 100% a scare tactic. Ed Krasenstein, David Pakman, these guys make money. They can afford to, like, draw out a legal battle with the government and have it be, you know, get a lot of attention and all that stuff. If they come after me, it's over. And they are going after smaller creators, something that we're going to be getting into in a moment. It's scary. They're going after some leftist creators and their subscribers, which we'll get into. You guys might be in danger, too. They're going after people with like 9,000 subscribers, okay? Like, listen, I'm probably gonna end up on this list. It's kind of scary, I'm not gonna lie. But we've got an Adam Mockler video here that goes into the White House leftist influencers page, and then after this, I've got a video that's going into the federal subpoenas on Google to get the data and identity of every subscriber of some of the largest leftist YouTubers out there. They want to know who's watching these people.
Good news, and we have some bad news. Let's start off with the bad news. Donald Trump has just ramped up his attacks against the media and his attacks against free speech to a new level. The official White House government page is now creating specific influencer lists in which they target progressive or liberal influencers, and they try to silence their voices via intimidation. There's an entire page for Brian Tyler Cohen calling him a media offender. By the way,
dude, they're going after, mind you, Brian Tyler Cohen is a liberal, like a very moderate liberal guy. So much for freedom of speech. There's never been, like, these people never believed in it. It's always been obvious. They've never believed in freedom of speech. This is Google's chance to stop being fucking evil. Remember, don't be evil used to be their catchphrase. They took that down years ago. He's not much longer for this world. Don't comply in advance. I'm gonna be real. I think a lot of your favorite progressive creators are gonna retire if the federal government starts coming after them. Because it's just not worth it. It's just not worth it.
Hey, I mean, if I were Brian Tyler Cohen, I'd much rather be on this list than the list that Trump is currently on. But number two, they have an entire list of David Pakman citing some of his stuff, calling it left-wing lunacy. They have an entire page of leftist influencers in which they claim these people are engaging in left-wing lunacy. I want to take a step back for 1 second to acknowledge how absolutely bizarre and authoritarian this this is. When Trump first got into power, he removed all of the inspectors general, the people who cut waste, fraud, and abuse. He immediately began attacking law firms to get them to do pro bono work so they couldn't check the executive branch. He immediately began to attack universities so they
I've told you guys from the get-go, there is no guardrails to this Trump presidency. The possibility to have discourse or a democracy itself was on the ballot in the last election. And it might be that we don't have another election. Trump might succeed in tearing it all down before the midterms even, at this rate. We're gonna have to see. Is this just gonna be some Trump whining about people that he doesn't like on the White House website? Is that all this is going to be? Or is this preceding a crackdown by the federal government? Very well might be.
Couldn't create critically thinking students who can debunk him. He started to attack mainstream media, as he has done for his entire political career. And on this show, we've been talking over and over about how there was one variable that this administration...
So we should just unsub now? Listen, if your interpretation of me saying being a progressive content creator is not only extremely difficult, but also now the federal government is targeting us, if your interpretation of that is I should support leftist content creators less and unsub, then maybe.
I don't know.
The
bad news is, today, they have realized the hidden variable to their equation and are beginning to attack on...
The answer is, like, we know why the Republicans are doing this, right? Like, do you know why Republicans are doing this? Chat, do you know why they're doing this? You know the answer to the question is, right? They're scared. What are they scared of? They're scared of the left having a platform. The right has had a monopoly on the internet for a long time. They have owned internet culture. They have owned meme culture. They have owned YouTube. They have owned TikTok even. The right kind of owns TikTok. Like, broadly, viewership on TikTok goes to these big right-wing TikToker dudes. All these platforms, the majority of traffic that is political, the majority of money, all goes through the right. The left lacks fundamental things such as corporate backing. We progressive content creators, we can't get corporate backing. You've got fucking Russia itself spending hundreds of thousands on conservative pundits because the right recognizes, and has for a long time, the power of controlling the internet. They know. But regardless though, very grassroots on the left compared to the right. You've got Russia money on the right, you've got grassroots on the left. You've got algorithms that are programmed to harm progressive content and bolster right-wing content because rage bait succeeds. I don't know if you guys realize it, but the left is starting to grow, right? The left is starting to establish that grassroots support, and while it's taken longer, it's slower, it's harder earned because there's not this like easy astroturfing into power that we can see from the likes of Abby Shapiro, right? But it's still possible to achieve the same level of platform, reach, and influence that these right-wing people like Joe Rogan and Nick Fuentes and whatnot have. It is possible, and Trump knows it's possible, and he is trying to shut that down. But I do think that the left online in the future has a real good chance, considering the fact that Donald Trump seems to think it has a good enough chance that he feels the need to actively declare war on it.
Online creators, commentators, influencers, as they call it. I refer to myself as a political commentator, and there is no reality in which political commentators like David Pakman or Brian Tyler Cohen should be getting actively attacked by the White House website for their views, for spreading the news, and should be actively attacked, likely going to receive an uptick in death threats due to this exact thing happening. You can't have the President of the United States or the official White House account attacking individuals like this unless you want violence to be enacted against them. So I urge you guys to go support David Pakman, Brian Tyler Cohen, Ed Krasenstein, anybody who is...
Oh, that's the hardest thing to get progressive people to do. That's the thing. The left relies so much on grassroots support, but dude, the lack of desire to even click a button from the average progressive content viewer is insane. It's rough to have a movement that requires so much grassroots support, grassroots funding, grassroots everything. There is no corporate backing. There is no astroturfing like the right benefits from, which means you have to prompt support from like an audience. But then yeah, it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. And I really do hope that people seeing this start to realize how bad this left-wing mindset of like, I don't know what it is, laziness, the mindset of like my vote doesn't matter or whatever it is. Hopefully that goes away and people realize we need a unified online loud culture online that that makes noise about stuff like this, because guess what? The only people talking about this are progressive content creators. The people being targeted by this are the only people talking about it. Like, that's the thing. Like, we have so little of a cultural foothold right now. It's currently, right now, could grow, assuming this doesn't get bad. It's pretty insane.
Specifically listed here needs our...
So, like, if you are not subscribed to David Pakman, Ed Krasenstein, and Brian Tyler Cohen already, what are you doing? Maybe you don't like their content, maybe you think their videos are boring, whatever, go subscribe to them. Occasionally open up their videos if you see it on your timeline, leave a like, and leave a comment. It is the least you can do. Isn't Pakman a Zionist? Honestly, you know what? Just throw me in prison. I'm not gonna quit. I'm not. If the feds come after me, I'm gonna up my rhetoric, and I'm gonna make them have to come and arrest me. I just throw me in prison at this point. Fuck. Oh my god.
Subscribe to the Adam Mockler feed. We are all in this together. And I just want to say,
I want to go to Alligator Alcatraz. Throw me in. Throw me in with the South Americans. All right. I'll learn Spanish quick.
Hey, you know, huge credit to the way that David Pakman and Brian Tyler Cohen are handling this. Let's start off with Brian Tyler Cohen's response, which I found quite captivating. Then we're going to walk through these websites and what the White House is saying about these specific individuals. Again, it all loops into their broader attacks on the media, law firms, universities, all of this, except in this case, they are attacking the one variable that they had missed thus far. So that is the bad news. After we play this clip, I'll get into the good news as well. Take a look.
I've spent a lot of time reporting on the news. I try very hard.
God damn, his hair looks good.
News. This video is going to be a little bit different. On the whitehouse.gov website, taxpayer-funded website, you'll now see my name under a list of media offenders. So I am officially on one of Donald Trump's enemies list. This is, I guess, a new iteration that's focused on...
The term offender in particular, as the connotation they're using with this list, really does make me think the goal is to put the list together and then to pursue charges against everyone on the list once the list is done. They've added to it already, by the way.
Content creators. Now,
I might already be on it now.
Law firms, universities, tech companies, media outlets, comedians. I guess we're up to content creators now. So in consultation with my attorneys, I've drafted a response, a legal response to Trump putting my...
I can't afford to do that. Listen, if there's some kind of like... If I'm supposed to be able to hire attorneys and give a legal response, like, yeah, I'll just have to go to prison, I guess.
Name on this enemies list as far as content creators are concerned, and it goes as follows. Fuck you, suck my dick.
Okay, I can do that.
Consider this a badge...
Well, not what he said, but I can tell Trump that. That can be my legal response.
...badge of honor to be included on whatever enemies list Donald Trump has conjured up this week.
Yeah, my legal response is just I just copy and paste of the original writing of the First Amendment. Yes, so that's my legal argument. I feel like it's the strongest precedent there is. Now, I would go pretty crazy if it's not some kind of kangaroo court, like you just go straight to prison or get deported for being a leftist influencer type thing. If they actually do have court, I would have to represent myself pro se. Or just get a free attorney, but at that point I might as well go pro se. So it'd be like maybe I could pull through. You know, I'd win. You know, I'd be like what's his name? What's the guy who recently just won his pro se lawsuit? Low Tier God. I'd be like Low Tier God. I'm like, all right, here's my binder. Okay, and maybe they televise it too, and I can like route the televised court trial to my channel for the live stream. All right, now we're getting really deep into the what if scenario. No, I don't think I'd win. No, I think it would be a kangaroo court kind of scenario. I think it would basically be like watching an execution, legally speaking.
Tells me one thing that I've struck a nerve with this administration, only makes me want to redouble my efforts, keep going. I have dedicated my...
Zan, also, let's be real, quitting is not going to stop them from coming after you. I mean, it might.
Government resources. This is a taxpayer-funded website. Government resources to be able to go after...
So this shit's crazy, but it gets scarier. So, big scary for progressive creators, right? Like, oh boy, this is pretty bad, huh? But what about you guys? What about you guys? Because I'm not just scared for me. I'm not just scared for other progressive creators. I'm also scared for you guys. Because, I don't know if you guys know this, but the government wants your YouTube data.
So the government went looking for the names, addresses, and IP addresses of people that are subscribed to certain YouTube channels. No, this is not a joke. This actually happened. The DO
This is all happening behind the scenes alongside this big public list. This is why this is why I don't think this is just Trump being whiny or whatever. Behind the scenes, the DOJ is trying to not only dox progressive creators and find out all their info so they can start pressing charges, they're trying to get all of your data so they can start coming after you.
Jay wanted your information if you were subscribed to 3 YouTube channels that they apparently found suspicious. And those 3 YouTube channels were owned by Don Lemon, Georgia Fort, and a guy named William Kelly. So these are like political activists of some type, political commentators. Don Lemon specifically used to work for CNN.
Thankfully, a judge said no. A judge said no.
And the DOJ, the US government, wanted the personal information of people just because they were subscribed to these channels. Think about that for a second. Don Lemon has 1.31.
Yeah. Don Lemon is a Zionist. Well, he's pretty liberal. I don't know if he's a Zionist. He's a critic of Israel, but he doesn't want it destroyed.
Admitted what? Because you went ahead and subscribed to a certain YouTube channel they didn't like? Think about how insane that is.
Wait a sec. I thought Trump was pro-Zionist. Oh, you guys don't realize that Israel doesn't matter in the slightest to the fascist American government. The fact is that Zionist or no, pro-Israel or no, if you're a liberal or you're a leftist, you're the same. You're meat to be fed into the wood chipper or into the gas chambers. Like, if you consider yourself at odds with liberals like David Pakman because of any of their politics on Israel, just know you're going to be right next to them in the gas chamber. If the Republicans get what they want, they don't care about how much you disagree with those liberals on Israel. They don't give a shit. I think now it might be about time to start putting aside differences on that issue here in America when it comes to American liberals, American leftists. Differences on that issue might be time to set aside. I'm willing to set aside all my disagreements with folks like Hassan at this point. Yeah, we're in fascism now. As far as Trump is concerned, me and Hassan are the same meat. There's no difference.
Other person, Georgia Fort, has almost 10,000 subscribers. Their information would apparently have been given away as well. And this last person over here, William Kelly, or the woke farmer over here, has about 8,000 subscribers. Apparently that information would have been given away as well. This is some scary stuff and a very scary time to be on the internet right now because it just seems like online privacy is eroding before our very eyes. Newly unsealed court documents from the Justice Department's prosecution of people who disrupted a church service in St. Paul, Minnesota, show the government reaching for subscriber data that had little to do with the conduct it was investigating. Journalists and commentators Don Lemon and Georgia Fort were charged as part of the disruption, though both alleged they were there as reporters rather than participants. On February 24th, prosecutors...
Why on earth would the audiences, the subscribers of these people, who are journalists, by the way, have anything to do with any potential crime that they may or may not have committed? Like, genuinely, if PewDiePie, like, committed a horrible crime, would that reflect at all on the people subscribed to him? No. It's absurd. There is no reason that the DOJ should have been trying to get past a judge to get access to the IPs, the names, the addresses, all the info of people subscribed to progressive creators. What they want to do is put you in camps and put you in prison. There is no reason for this. This is not logical. This is not like normal procedure. The goal of this is to get your data so they can target you. Asmodeus Devil Luke, thank you for the $25, says they can put this on the list. We appreciate you, Zan. Thank you. I appreciate that immensely. Thank you. I can add that to any potential legal defense fund against the Trump administration if that ends up happening. Or what would it be? The DOJ? Is that what they're going to try to target us with? I'm guessing it'll be the DOJ.
Filed 5 search warrants. 3 of them asked YouTube to turn over the names, mailing addresses, residential addresses, business addresses, email addresses, telephone numbers, and IP addresses for every subscriber to channels run by Lemon, Fort, and activist William Kelly, whose channel goes by DeWoke Farmer.
By the way, 2 of those people have 1/10 of my subscriber count. 2 of those 3 people have 1/10 of my subscriber count or less. So just in case you guys were like, well, but Zan, you only get a few thousand views per video. Your channel's kind of dead. You got like 14,000 subscribers, but you only get a few thousand views. So it's like unlikely they're going to find you. Dude, if they're finding people with less than 10,000 subs and they are trying to find out the addresses and identities of their subs, they'll definitely find me. they'll eventually find me. Maybe they won't, dude. Maybe the algorithm has suppressed me, and it suppresses me so bad that the Trump admin can't even find me. They never even find out I exist because I just remain so irrelevant. That would be crazy. That might be the funniest possible outcome, is if I remain so irrelevant through Trump's presidency that the federal government doesn't even know I exist, and like every other leftist YouTuber is in federal prison, and at the end of Trump's presidency, I'm the only one free and still making videos, and then naturally everybody starts watching me because I'm the only one who's not in prison because I was too irrelevant during Trump's admin. That would actually be really funny. That would unironically be peak storytelling. Vault Hunter, thank you for the $5. I appreciate that. Says, I'll stand with you, Zan. Together, ape strong. True. Ape together strong.
Sworn out by Homeland Security Investigations agent Timothy Gerber went beyond the journalists and activists running the channels. They swept toward the audience, the ordinary people whose only link to the case was having clicked the channel subscribe button. I mean, if this story doesn't go viral, then I don't know what will. I mean, this is absolutely insane.
Doesn't seem like it is, sadly, because progressive content doesn't have the current, like, backing to reach enough people for it to be a big story yet, but eventually they're going to go after somebody who's really big. Like Philip DeFranco. I think that's going to be when this actually goes viral, is when the likes of Philip DeFranco start getting called out. Not leftist creators, not liberal creators, but mainstream centrist people, or like center-left people who have a broad platform and don't do left-wing politics, and they criticize Trump from time to time. I think it's going to be people like Phil DeFranco, someone big and someone who's not just lefty guy, is going to get attacked by Trump, is going to have like the DOJ target them, and that's what's going to blow up all of this big time. Sorry if I'm harping about fleeing, but I'm worried about you and other lefties and liberals. Honestly, I mean, I'm not far from Mexico. Like, if I had to, bro, I could be in Mexico pretty darn quick. Pull a Reckless Ben. Reckless Ben's in Mexico right now. Maybe I could go chill with Reckless Ben.
I have heard of the government asking YouTube for the information of certain YouTube channels. Let's say if the YouTube channel was like them plotting some sort of crime.
I have my passport.
Hey, I will go and commit
Mexico.
This crime at this time. Obviously, the government will want to investigate that person and make sure they don't actually do that whole thing that they're claiming to be doing. But I've never heard about anything like this before. So basically, let's just say for argument's sake, right? I don't even know what they're talking about, this whole disruption at Minnesota or whatever. I have no idea about the details about it. But just, for argument's sake, let's say Don, Georgia, and William were all guilty, right? What the hell does that have to do with the people who subscribe to them? People who just like their videos, people who support them? What the hell do they have to do with it? Why would
they
you have
agree
to
with their
dox
politics
them and take away all their information? It really makes no sense. It just goes to show that the governments around the world right now are just so corrupt. And I say right now, but they pretty much always have been. Magistrate Judge John Doherty rejected all 5, several of them for lack of probable cause. Of course, yeah. I mean, this judge actually has a brain. On the warrant aimed at Kelly's channel, Doherty...
Remember, not a Trump-appointed judge, probably. We get this in front of a Trump-appointed judge, and carne asada at my family's place in Mexico. Vamos. If I get over there, if I head down there, I'll hit you up. Okay. I don't know an extraordinary amount of Spanish. I can say, hola, me llamo Xander. Yo necesito agua. Yo necesito el baño. I could say my name's Alex. I need water. I need the bathroom. Like, those are pretty good. Those are important.
He pointed to a video that appears to be paradigmatic political speech protected by the First Amendment. A demand that treats a list of viewers as evidence turns watching journalism or activism into a reason to be identified by the state, which is a steep price for pressing play on a live stream. One other thing I want to point out here, right? Let's say they were going ahead and asking for this information 10 years ago, right? For some people on YouTube, their channels, they have like their channel name, profile picture. Sometimes they make their channel name their real name, right? Sometimes they make their channel...
Mindful white boy speaks a little Espanol.
Profile, real picture of them. Let's just use someone random for an example, right? Like iJustine, right? YouTube legend, been on YouTube forever. Obviously, her whole brand is her own face, right? And obviously people know her full name. So if a channel like this, like the information was given away...
Jiu-jitsu? Why did no one tell me iJustine was cool? She does Brazilian jiu-jitsu? Huh. Sick.
with a name, address, and stuff like that, that could do a lot of damage because this person is an actual public figure. This person is someone who has a lot of information out about them. What about myself, right? So if, for example, if the government asked for this type of information about me, I wouldn't have any of that information on my channel, right? Let's say I'm not even a YouTuber. Let's say I'm just some normal guy watching YouTube videos. I don't have my real name or a profile picture of me there. So even if the government did ask for that,
Very good point. Most people wouldn't have much of any data attached to their YouTube channel, except maybe if they're paying for things through YouTube, maybe they're buying subs, they're giving donos, they're getting memberships, they have YouTube Premium. You've given them some kind of card and payment data, your name. Through your card, they can get your bank, and through your bank, they can get your mailing address, your billing address. And so from there, they can get a lot just from that. On top of that, we've had all these ID laws, this attempts at forcing ID verification on people. Oh, convenient. Now you've got the federal government, the DOJ, subpoenaing Google to get the identification of these people. Random people sub to a YouTuber the government doesn't like. It's like, oh yeah, let's hand over their IDs now. Glad we had you collect those. I guarantee you, there was some Epstein class bullshit going on behind the scenes for years now of organizing these big platforms collecting the identification and bank info of as many users as possible so that the government can just snap their fingers and get it when they need to. And then, of course, on the private end of things, selling data. Oh my God, what a lucrative industry. The data selling industry is, from what I understand, one of the most lucrative industries in the world.